Hey, I'm back. It's Collected Deck. I'm back for my second episode. This week is Ron Leflore, born and raised in Michigan, played for the Detroit Tigers. This guy's story is something else. You're going to want to hear this. I told you last week, this is what I was going to be doing. If you missed last week's episode, I did that on Mark Fidrich. So go back and check that out if you haven't yet. Anyways, Ron Leflore. He's from Michigan. He grew up, had a, I don't know if you want to say a rough childhood, but he was selling drugs. I think he was selling heroin. And then him and two of his friends held up a bar and sold $35,000 and got 5 to 15 years in the Jackson State Prison in Michigan. So prior to prison, Ron Leflore had never played baseball before. His first time he ever played baseball was prison baseball. So I'm assuming he must have been pretty good. A pretty good athlete. And anyway, so I guess he's playing this prison baseball and he must have stuck out. So anyways, there was another fellow inmate called Jimmy Corrala. I hope I'm pronouncing that right, because I'm about to pronounce another name that I'm probably not pronouncing right either. But another inmate, Jimmy Corrala, had a friend, Jimmy Butikaris. Anyways, Jimmy Butikaris owned a Detroit bar that Billy Martin frequented, so they became friends. So there's I'll call him Jimmy B. Jimmy B and Billy Martin, who at the time was the Tigers manager. They were friends. And so Jimmy Corrala said, hey, you gotta talk Billy Martin into coming down to the prison to see this guy play. So what happens? Who knows how, who knows why, but Billy Martin maybe was desperate because they were in last place, because the Tigers in those years, I think they made the playoffs in 72, and then after that they were not good in the 70s. The 70s, they stunk. So maybe he was just desperate, who knows. But he agreed to go down there and let Ron Leflore try out for the Tigers. So when he gets the day of, he gets there, it had rained and the field at the prison was all, mud and water and stuff. So they actually rescheduled, and he went down to the stadium. I don't know how much longer after that, like a week or two after that, whatever. And his dad, obviously he got furloughed from prison for the weekend, and his dad and his brother came and picked him up, and on the way there, their car breaks down. So this guy's got this opportunity to try out for the Detroit Tigers after being in prison, after having even played baseball in his life. He gets this opportunity, and the first opportunity he gets rained out. The second opportunity, he's driving there, and his car breaks down. So this guy must be thinking, this is not meant to be. But anyways, they ended up hitchhiking. They get there, because I guess if you got this opportunity, you're going to do what you got to do to get there. So he got there, had to try out. I think Billy Martin just shut down batting practice just so Ron could hit some balls and stuff like that and all that stuff. Anyways, long story short, the dude made it. The dude made the team. And not only did he make the team, the dude could play. The dude could steal. He could hit and he could steal. Fielding, not so much. But stealing, he led the league in steals twice. Once for the Tigers, and once he got traded after I think the 78 season from the Tigers to the White Sox. No, I'm sorry, to the Expos first and then the White Sox. But one season for the Tigers right here, he led he was the AL leader for stolen bases. He had 400. That year he had 68 in 1978, and Omar Moreno had 71. So, who obviously led the league. So I mean that's pretty good. So Ron Leflore had 3 less than the actual leader of the whole MLB that year. And he led the AL, which is insane. And the next player was, I don't know this guy's name. I don't know, something Cruz. He had 59. And the next, it says SEA, like that's the name, Seattle. Cruz. And then Moreno had 71. And then the next after him was 46 with Tavares, who was also in Pittsburgh. So Pittsburgh those years had some pretty fast people. But anyways, amazing. And like I said, then he goes on and leads the league in 1980, I think, with 97. Well, at least the NL with 97 stolen bases. There's another card, I don't have it, but there's another card with him. It's Ron Leflore and Ricky Henderson. So you know he was up there if he's got Ricky Henderson on his card. So the dude could run. He ended up retiring with 455 stolen bases in his career, which is 53rd all time. And he only played 9 seasons. So I was looking at the leaders of all, the top stolen base records in the history of the MLB. He's ranked number 53rd with 455, played 9 seasons. That is by far the least amount of seasons played. The next is, the people above him, above 53rd, the next lowest number is 12. They played 12 seasons. And after that, it's like 15, 19. Ricky Henderson played 25 seasons. He's the top guy. So, I mean, if this guy would have grew up playing baseball, who knows what this guy could have did. That's some insane stuff. 455 steals, 53rd all time, only played 9 seasons. He also had a 30-game hit streak to start off, I think, the 76 season. So, yeah, so if you listen to my last episode with Mark Fidget, you know how big the 1976 season was for him and the Tigers. Well, at the same time, which Ron Leflore kind of got overshadowed by Mark Fidget, so never really talked about, still talks about it. But Ron Leflore had started the season out with a 30-hit streak game. It's still the Tigers' longest hit streak since then, since 1934 actually, because 1934, I think, I can't remember who, but they had somebody hit like 35. I can't remember who it was. But so that's the longest hit streak since Ron Leflore's did it in 1976. And if you add the year, the 75 year, he obviously must have had a hit in the last game of the season. So he actually had a 31 game hit streak, which is tied for 25th of all time. So he's 53rd all time stolen bases, 25th tied. He's tied for 25th all time. There's been a lot of people who've hit 31 games hit streaks, but tied for tied for 25 hit streak all time. That's just two numbers right there, man. I mean, the guy never played baseball before he was in his 20s and in prison, which is insane. Unreal. So anyway, so he, after he makes a team, he starts out with, he goes to the minor leagues, obviously. Jim Leyland, who used to be a minor league manager for the Tigers back then, he was his coach. He's actually also Lou Whitaker's coach, Alan Trammell's coach. So he was the guy back then. And then, we all know Jim Leyland's career. And then he came back to the Tigers and actually managed the Tigers and took them to the World Series in 06 and 12 and then retired. They lost, unfortunately. But yeah, so Jim Leyland was back there coaching him up. He spent a lot of time with him. Anyways, and he came up and then he did his thing, man. I mean, it's crazy. He like I said a minute ago, he wasn't a very good fielder, but he was hitting. He also had, I was watching a ton of like YouTube videos on him, on Ron Leflore, and a couple of them said, I couldn't find anything online, but I'm assuming it's true because there were different sources, but they said he had the longest, I don't know about to this day, but at the time when he was playing, he had the longest hit streak. He had, I think it was 130 games or somewhere around 130 games where he didn't go more than 2 games without getting a hit. So he got a hit in at least every other game, which is also unreal. So this dude could hit. Again, if this guy played more than 9 years, if he had played when he was younger, who knows what this guy would have done. He might have been one of the best players of all time. He might be a top 10, top 25 player of all time if this dude would have played growing up. And he would have stayed off drugs. And he would have, now went to prison and all that kind of thing. But that was another thing towards the end of his career. He started to get back on drugs. And that's why when Sparky Anderson came in, and I think 79, that's when they traded Ron Leflore to the Expos, because anybody knows Sparky Anderson, who was a long time, obviously Cincinnati, won 2 with Cincinnati, and he won 1 with the Tigers in 84. He was pretty hardcore with his players. He was definitely old school, and he didn't like Ron's off-field stuff that he had going on, so he got rid of him. Even though he was such a great player, he still got rid of him. That's just what Sparky was like. So anyways, he went to the Expos, played there, I think, for a couple years, and he went to the Chicago White Sox. Didn't do anything with his White Sox, and then he retired, I think in like 82, I want to say. And then he had, I can't remember exactly what was wrong. He had some kind of disease, and he lost his leg, so now he's got a prosthetic leg. He is still alive, but and I think he's actually doing better now. I'm not quite sure. I haven't really watched. I've watched the most recent video I watched from was probably like, I don't know, within the past 10 years. So I don't actually know how he's doing now, but he does have a prosthetic leg. But I mean, you do drugs, you don't take care of yourself, that is what's gonna happen. But I would say overall, this dude had a great life. I mean, he started out rough, played some ball, set some records. I mean, what more could you want, man? It's amazing. So I think next week probably gonna be another Tiger, but I have 2 more that I've been starting a list of players I want to do that I find interesting. So if you have some players that you find interesting and unique, let me know. Leave it in the comments, or go to Instagram, Collect the Deck on Instagram. Message me or just reply, put a comment on there and let me know, because I'm gonna need some more players. I love doing this. I love learning about all these players and their stats and all that kind of stuff. It's a lot of fun. But yeah, I'm gonna make sure I didn't miss anything about this dude. I think I got everything. But yeah, Ron Leflore, amazing, amazing. I don't know if there's any other story that is more amazing than this in Major League Baseball, because you go from prison to baseball. Prison to baseball, that's crazy. So anyways, look him up. Learn all you can about Ron Leflore. Learn all you can about all these players. They're all, I love learning all these stats, all this stuff. So anyways, like I said, Collect the Deck, that's Collect the Deck with a K. Follow me on Instagram, subscribe here, tell your friends, leave comments, tell me what you think, tell me who you want to hear about. Let's do this, all right? Collect the Deck, I'm out.